We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can now. Thanks for what happened. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Samaras.
Okay, fine. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and welcome to the Lowell High School Building Committee meeting agenda, Thursday, June 20th at 6 p.m. Item number 1, City Acceptance Communication Report, Participation Zoom. All in favor of that? So moved. Item number 2, once again, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Mr. Ball, could you set the roll call, please?
Manager Golden. Here. Michael Vaughn. Here. Eileen Del Rossi. Liam Skinner. Here. Richard Underwood. Michael Fiato. Here. Connor Baldwin. Here. Mark Byrne. James Hall. Sakari Chow. David Peasley. Yeah, he is here.
I think Mr. Peasley is on the Zoom.
Okay. William Samaras.
On the Zoom.
Edward Kennedy. John Leahy. Rodney Elliott. Here. Marianne Manzi.
Here.
Jay Mason. Here. Maria Sheehy. Benjamin Opara. Here. Erica Harvey. John Haley. Zoom too. Paul St. Cyr. Vanna Howard. Kendrick.
Here.
Janica Lang. We have a quorum.
Excellent. So we do have a quorum. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. Ball. First order of business here, the acceptance of the minutes on May 2nd, 2024. If people could review those, and I'll take the opportunity to accept or change when you have an opportunity to read through the minutes.
Neither can I. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah, I just don't think we can hear the meeting.
I can't hear the meeting.
You can't hear
Yeah.
the meeting. Okay. Can you hear me at all?
Afternoon, gentlemen.
All right. So how we
How you doing, Bill?
stand by.
Okay.
Stand by,
everybody.
folks, if you could hold on one moment. Once again, we're 2 years into Zoom.
We can have our own meeting.
Yeah. Traffic wasn't bad getting here, I'll tell you this.
I got air conditioning where I am. I don't know about those guys.
You know, I think the last time I was remote was the same thing. Technical difficulties.
Not sure if you can hear us now, guys.
What I need is press, go, stop, go, stop. That's all I can handle.
Gentlemen, can you hear us now? Any chance of you hearing us now? All right.
I have somebody at the meeting who's texting us, asking if we can hear anything. I'm gonna just text that we can't.
Okay, thank you.
A little bit better.
What I need is press go, stop, go, stop. No, I can handle.
Gentlemen, can you hear us now?
Yes,
Thank you, Bob.
Mr. Manager, yep, yes.
A little bit better. Oh, that was me. That's the delay.
We're going to go into a little bit of a recess until we can fix this. If anybody has that email,
I'm
text
not
message.
hearing anything now.
No,
I just got a text from somebody who's at the meeting saying they're trying to work on it.
yeah. I heard him for a sec, half a minute there, then went away.
Yeah, can you hear us right now?
No, is that yours?
Huh, it looks like it's picking up our audio right here. So I can see the audio moving there. That should be.
See,
This is Vanna Howard. I can hear all just fine.
down in the little box that you were showing me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just hearing the other people on Zoom?
All right, Senator Kennedy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tom, but I can't, all I see is, I can see the mayor's reception room, but there's nobody in there.
I swear to God, we're here. Senator, I don't want to say anything, but where are those glasses?
Oh, no, yeah, I can see everybody right here.
Yeah. How's that look? I'm going to wave to you, Ed. Any luck? I can't see myself there. Mr. Samaras, can you hear us?
Yes,
All right. Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Thank you, Rep. Okay. We are here, I swear to you. All right, we do have anyone else coming in late that you need to take care of? Mr. Ball?
Just to confirm for the people that are on Zoom, I have Mr. Samaras, Ms. Howard, Senator Kennedy, John Haley, Captain Peasley. Is there anybody else that I missed on Zoom?
Okay.
All set.
Excellent. If everyone has an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from May 2nd, this meeting, 2024, I'll accept the change or as is, whatever it may be. So if everyone
Move
could take
approval
a
of the minutes.
move approval of minutes, I have a first, I have a second. All in favor of moving approval of the minutes? My aye. Any nays? So voted. All right, the next piece, the internal budget transfers. And Mr. Dowd?
Good evening. We have the first budget revision request of what will be many. They'll probably, this is first time we put this in front of this group, but probably every meeting or every other meeting going forward, we will,
Not hearing now.
Yeah, I lost them too.
okay. Can you hear us now?
I
You
can hear
lost.
somebody, but I don't hear the general meeting, I don't think.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Maybe this is just this. It shouldn't matter, but.
So on my screen, there's a piece of paper that says budget revision request. Is that what
Yes.
I should be looking at?
Correct, Senator. We are, we're presenting budget revision request one.
So,
The
I have the same thing, Senator, on my screen.
okay,
Same here. I see the same thing on my screen.
okay.
These are typically all the way through construction presented to the SBCs for approval. They are line item moves. The $381 million budget is staying as is. There's just all types of movement within line item budgets that happen through the duration of the project. The reason that we're so far into construction, and this is just, the first one's just being presented right now, is because you can't, with the MSBA, make a budget revision until you have the PFA bid amendment. The PFA bid amendment, which was submitted back in 2022, wasn't approved until April of this year, and the reason for the delay was for the MSBA working out, fortunately, all of the additional funding, which was the reason that we're 2 years into this and just presenting a budget revision request now. So this will be a normal course of business going forward. So there are 3 sections of budget revision requests. One is owner contingency transfer. On the project, we have 2 contingencies. One is the main contingency, we will call it, at $21 million. That's for typical change orders. And then the other contingency is the owner's contingency, also known as the soft cost contingency. The amount of that contingency is $2,052,000. We've made our first charges to that, which amounted to $250,000. One was for some HVAC repairs in the 80s to limp the 80s HVAC. Mr. Mason?
I had a question on the budget summary. It talks about a construction contingency of 16.8 and an owner's contingency of a little over 2 million. That adds up to 18 million. So I'm not sure how that relates to the 21 million we're talking about.
The 21 million, if we go into in the presentation, the 21 million for change orders used to date brings that down to, the 16.6 million.
16,839,196.
So that's for the 21 change orders we've had to date. The 2,052,000 is a separate contingency for soft costs, which is additional architectural consultants, if there's additional furniture needed, and any other items that we may have incurred with the city, which the project was paying for. So one of those was, there was costs for improving the HVAC in the 1980s building just to make it to 2 days ago. We made it with the 1980s HVAC.
If I could, I'm just trying to understand. We're talking about 21.2 million on this revision request, right?
Yes.
And I'm adding up the 2 contingencies on the budget summary, and they only add up to about 18 or 19.
There are two separate pots. There's a $2 million pot, which is the owner's soft cost contingency, and then the other pot is the hard cost contingency, which is the 21 million.
Jonathan, can you hear them?
The 16
No, I
million that I'm
can't hear anything,
showing
Bill.
is what we've,
You know, they were
is what
in
we
and
have
out and in
remaining.
and out, but I
in-
haven't heard anything for
I
a
see.
couple of
So
minutes.
that's the
It-
balance.
That's the balance of the
We need
hard
a-
cost, of the larger of the contingencies.
I see.
The smaller of the contingencies, we've spent 250,000 to date, and we're just transferring it to the line items out of the soft cost contingency. The middle construction contingency transfer was in March of 22, when the city council appropriated another $38.5 million. We assigned another $1.5 million to
Hopefully they'll let us
FF&E.
know when they adjourn,
The
right?
MSBA and their project funding amendment doesn't have a mechanism to put the money in the FF&E. The MSBA put it in the contingency, so we actually went over the 21 million, and we spoke with them in the PFA, and we said that money belongs in the FF&E. They said we have to leave it in the contingency and then write a BRR1
They
should
talk
move
about
that.
the
So we're
21
doing,
million,
we're
the
putting
main
that money
section. It's
where
down
the city
16
council
million.
assigned it back in March of 22.
Yeah, you know, one question would be, is any of that from the 22 building, or is it all, have they not got into the 22 building at all at this point, so?
The other items are reallocations
Like to
within,
hear
there's
that,
$1.3 million in reimbursable costs to the architect for their consultants, and we're just
You know,
moving
there's
money.
only a couple
with-
of times at these meetings where I've had to be remote, and it's never worked out very well. It's, you know, I've encountered the same type of problems before.
I'm not following.
Yeah, I can't hear a thing, so I'm not sure what they're being discussed right now.
Right.
Get everybody in one conversation. Is that
Yeah.
seem okay? All right, I'm gonna, we'll get the phone call, the, conference line open.
The wireless Carol.
It's almost like it's frozen on this. I can't believe we're still on this one page.
Right.
Senator,
Yes.
we're talking about the 22 building, but should we assume that the board building would also be?
Well, I don't know. It's difficult because, you know, I didn't ask any questions. But I did just I just got a call saying they can hear our conversation at the meeting.
Are we up? Number?
I think it's on the TV, Robert.
Obviously have this audio trouble here. I have to try to get everybody on like one call. Do you have Senator Kennedy and, do you have that, Andy?
It's trying to get us back on.
Or was the fourth record, is that Senator Kennedy something?
Is anybody still on?
I'm still on. I don't know if anybody knows it.
So we'll call you.
Senator, they asked us to try to dial in on a conference call.
Yes, you have it.
Instead of doing it this way, that's probably a good idea. How are they gonna get us the number?
We'll have to dial them all into that phone.
Captain.
Hi, Representative Howard, this is Austin. Just give us a moment, okay? We're gonna try to link everyone together, okay? Okay, all right.
Hello?
Senator Kennedy?
Yes. Sure.
Thank you.
Patrick, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Bill.
I can't hear you.
Does the conference call?
Can you hear me now, Bill?
One more thing I can try. Give me 1 minute.
Okay, but Bill Samaras cannot hear me.
I can hear you.
Representative Howard, are you still on?
Senator, I'm still on.
Can you hear everybody?
I can hear, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I offered to, I certainly could probably get them all on there. Right, make time to.
I'm hearing the echo, that's what I was worried about. But try talking into one of those mics right now.
Just checking in, guys. Senator, can you hear?
I can hear.
Okay, so we just need to mute it on our side.
I think Bill Samaras cannot hear.
Bill, can you hear us? Bill? All right, Eddie, can you hear me? Nope. So how about, no, it's not with the microphone.
Can you hear us? I'm in there, yeah. Is it? This is muted.
Okay, sorry. Eddie, can you hear me?
Ed, how about now? Peasley can hear us. Okay.
We'll be talking through the microphone. Okay, Trash.
All right.
Do you hear us, Senator?
Senator, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Mr. Samaras, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'll get Samaras on the phone. I don't know if there's a way to mute myself, but only for you guys, because that's the only way to remove that echo from, yeah, in here. Yeah, I don't see an option. That's what I had a feeling it would be an echo, but, I'm just gonna mute this for a second.
All right, so, Senator Kennedy, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Just have-
Bill Samaras, can you hear me? Representative Howard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Mr. Haley?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dowd, heading back to budget revisions request, please.
So,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call the meeting back to order, and Mr. Dowd is going to go back discussing the budget revision requests. I think there were messages or questions that the committee had.
Unfortunately, I think that echo might be here to stay. We need to talk about it. Because, yeah, there's some feedback too. The only way that they can hear you right now is in the Zoom meeting itself through LTC. And if we mute LTC.
All righty, Mr. Dowd.
well, so this budget revision request.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill. All right. So, Mr. Dowd, you should be okay. Senator, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Mr. Dowd, you should be okay. Senator, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Ms. Howard, can you hear me?
This. It's on the TV.
That's what we were trying to do over there.
But we could do it on, we could merge on iPhones.
Okay, I can hear now. Again.
Do you want to get them on the phone?
All right. So we have budget revision request 1, which is moving items within line items. The overall budget remains at $381 million. We are just moving line items, which is a normal course of business, and it will proceed with every meeting or every other meeting where we will have budget revision requests. The reason this budget revision request is so late in the game is because the PFA bid amendment with the additional funding that was received from the state, it delayed it about 2 years, but that was a good thing to get all of that additional funding. So going forward, we will have budget revision requests every meeting or every other meeting. I'd request that this be approved, and again, the $381 million budget stays.
Are there any questions in regards to the internal budget transfers?
Mr. Manager?
Yes, Senator Kennedy.
The only questions I have are we still within budget? Are we on schedule? And were any of the contingencies impacted by work on the 1922 building? Or have we not really started on the 1922 building at all?
We are on budget. Mr. Radloff will explain the schedule. We are on schedule, and there may be some minor items of field bulletins that encompassed some items within the 1922, but there is nothing major within the 1922. We do have a few upcoming change orders that are significant, that are in regard to the 1922 building, but those are just being actually negotiated with subcontractors right now.
Okay. When you say significant, can you give a ballpark of how much money we might be talking about?
There are a couple changes that are 6 figures. Is one that's 7 figures.
Okay. The one that's 7 figures, is it the first number of 1, hopefully?
It is a 1, and we're trying to get it as close to the 1 as possible. We have another one that's in the 900,000s, and we actually had one we thought was going to be significant and just came in actually lower in the last 2 days. So, but we have the money for these items.
Generally, what are those 2 big items? What are they generally?
One was additional demolition in every classroom within the 1922 building, and another one was the flooring that was supposed to be saved in the 1922 building in nearly every classroom was beyond saving and was going to end up being a headache for the school probably 5-10 years down the road. So we decided to address that now.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions in regards to these internal budget transfers? Motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor of the approval? Any opposed?
Aye.
The internal transfer passes. Thank you. Suffolk Skanska Perkins Eastman presentation, construction and turnover update, phase 2.
I'll turn it over to Mr. Radloff from Suffolk to proceed.
Thank you. I'm going to try to do my best with the feedback. So this is the 4th summer that we're going in. Quite a busy one, just like the past ones. Sorry guys, I'm adjusting to this a little bit. It comes down to 3 parts. Phase 2, summer 24, and then also phase 3 kickoff. Phase 2 is the project that we've been seeing coming out of the ground for the last 2 years, and that's the Freshman Academy. So right now we're tracking a TCO for this summer, with work lists right now ongoing within the building, and then on the outside of the building, a heavy push with site work. So by the time that the teachers move in, right now, sorry guys, this is very difficult. By the time the teachers move in, there are a couple elements which we are going to be wrapping up right before, after, or maybe a couple days into students coming back. That's going to be landscaping, only because that's a very seasonal activity. Also, the quad canopy, which is the canopy that runs alongside Father Morset. There's some work that we're putting off as long as we can because of access into that quad. So building out of that's coming down to the very end. Also a couple elements on the inside. Entrance mats we're trying to get in as well. But if they don't come in, we're going to temp those out, just like we did for phase 1. As far as the summer work goes, summer 24, we have a handful of mini projects, just like we've done last summer and the summer past. These are projects that help us build out spaces for future support. That's very helpful. You guys still hear us? Well,
Either way,
I'm happy.
you wouldn't be able to hear that. So we'll,
Yeah.
turn it back up when we get to the.
Okay, great. So as far as these projects go, again, just like for last summer and the summer prior, we're all over the campus. And the point is to build out these jobs to help, again, enable spaces for future support. And then lastly, phase 3. We're looking to start up phase 3. That's actually commenced with movers from this week all the way through next Wednesday. And then we're going to have demo contractors in the building. That's in the 1980s building as well as the 1922 building kicking off phase 3. Phase 2 was a 2-year job, definitely one of the more complex portions of this project. But phase 3 is also equally complex just because of how dense the schedule is for that. We have about 13 months to get in and get out of that space. So we are definitely going to be working around the clock. When I say around the clock, actually 2 shifts in the beginning, and then hopefully bringing it back to 1 shift until we're through. So that's the schedule update. Any comments, questions, thoughts? Okay.
When you say 2 shifts, you mean 2 full shifts?
2 full shifts, yep.
For how long is that?
I'm sorry?
For how long?
So right now, we're anticipating probably 4 to 5 months, definitely through the demo contractor. They're going to need to run 2 shifts to clear out the building. And then also we're thinking the same with the steel contractor that comes in right after the demo contractor. Afterwards, it should come back to one shift.
I just wanted to ask about the demolition, but first I just want to say thank you for doing such a good job on the work so far. It's a great school. I just wanted to ask, I see that the demolition is starting soon. What is the scope of the demolition? Is this something that the building commission has looked at? Because I know it's an old building, so there might be some concerns.
Yeah, definitely. So the scope, we go through an asbestos abatement process, especially with the age of these buildings. So we put the building under containment, abate the building, so then it's safe to go in and perform what we call bulk demo. And that is effectively taking out all existing mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems above ceilings, the floors, the drywall, all the way down to the exterior wall or the inside of the exterior wall. On the outside of the building, we're going to be repointing some brick, cleaning up some of the brick, and then also creating a few new openings for new windows, storefronts, skylights, etc. So effectively, even though you have the same core of the building, or I apologize, the shell of the building, preserving its historical characteristics, the inside of the building is going to be state-of-the-art and brand new because of that demo operation.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I don't know if I heard wrong or not. Did you say you were going to start the phase 3 next Wednesday? Or?
So phase 3 theoretically kicked off when students, the day after students' last day. And that commenced with movers, moving material or the furniture out of the phase 3 area, that's 1922, and also the 1980s building, for us to then be able to get into the space and start demolition. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but the first step is to always clear the space out of any loose items before we go in. We are going to be putting the building under containment, that's protection, starting next week, the end of next week.
Do you know how, roughly how much time it'll take for the phase to, go through?
For phase 3?
Yeah.
Phase 3 is going to take 13 months, and that's definitely the major challenge to this project is not necessarily the scope of work, but how dense the schedule is.
Okay, 2 excellent questions. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Yes, Mr.
Dowd. Can you go back to the topic of the hardwood floors? What was the challenge and what changes are going to be made? You mentioned we're going to try to address this now, so we're not addressing it 5 years down the road. Can you be more specific what those challenges were?
So the hardwood floors, we went in April and refinished one of the hardwood floors, which was the with the methods that the floors, all of the floors, were going to be refinished. The reason we did that was we wanted to see how it took the sanding. The floors are literally 100 years old. And there were some areas with water damage near windows where during storms or thunderstorms, windows were left open and had been damaged over the years. So the wood was replaced in those classrooms where it was water damaged, and the floor was refinished. What we encountered was the floor had been refinished so many times that where you have a tongue and groove wood, the top of the groove was nearly gone. In fact, it had one more finish left in it. So 10 years down the road, when someone goes to refinish those floors, the floors were going to pop if they got refinished. And we're not here to give the city a 10-year product. So the decision was made. All of the other floors within the school are Forbo, and we're going to proceed with, which is a linoleum product, and we're going to proceed with putting that flooring down in all of the 1922 classrooms. Thank you. You're welcome.
You said linoleum, so it's not a vinyl. It's a linoleum product.
Yes, it's a linoleum product.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions, thoughts, concerns in regards to phase 2 and 3? Not seeing anything. Moving on to MBE WBE Suffolk and their workforce progress.
Yeah, so MBE, WBE, minority workforce, we're tracking 23.7%, well above our projected goal. Female workforce, 4.6. This is a little bit higher from the past months in our project goal, 6.9. And then Lowell residents, which we don't technically have a requirement for on this project, but it's heavily encouraged, right under 10% at 9.19.
Great. Any questions in regards to MBE WBE workforce? Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Seeing none. Moving on to designer update. If we have any new designs updates.
I do not have any updates, but I'm available for questions.
Any questions in regards to design? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Manager. I just wanted to check on the status of the solar-ready building. I know that our our sustainability director is working on procuring a contract for leased solar, and I wonder if you can give us an update on the status of that.
It's been a joint effort to get the infrastructure in place with the information we received from the city and the solar company. But in terms of schedule for the panels, I can't speak to it. That's a city question.
Mr. Dowd?
Mr. Mason, I would say that as questions come up and items are required by the solar company, we are actively engaging with them and providing the information that they require.
That's great.
Excellent. Any other questions in regards to design? Any other questions in regards to design? Seeing none. Heading over to the OPM update. Mr. Dowd.
With the budget summary, the crux of my budget summary report was actually addressed in the budget revision request. As we said, the main thing we focus on is the $21.2 million in contingency. That is at 16. We've used 4.3 million. We're at 16.8 million, and that's what we keep a close eye on. We've also received $141 million in reimbursement from the state, which is a significant. That's on $201 million spent to date. Moving on to the next slide on the budget update.
Mr. Baldwin.
Jim, if I could just ask you a question about the procedurally for the BRR votes, will those be reflected on the budget summary at the next school building committee meeting?
Those, yes, they will. Those transfers will be made in the budget column at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin. Going back to Mr. Dowd.
For the month of May, there was $5 million worth of work put into place, and as I said, we've spent $201 million of the project funds to date, and I'll take questions.
Any questions in regards to budget updates? Any other questions in regards to budget updates? Okay, seeing none. Next step for Skanska, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. I know we had a little bit of a confusion in the beginning there, but so next steps, Mr. Dowd.
As Mr. Radloff said, we have quite a busy summer coming forward. We are off to a good start. In fact, they literally started minutes after the students left. The students left at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and there were crews shutting down power and gas and other things to equipment that needed to be moved out. So we literally didn't waste a minute getting going. So we're gonna have a strong summer going through to turning over the building, the freshman academy, the cafeteria, and the D building, and we'll be well into phase 3. I believe the other next step we have is the next meeting. And we had discussions earlier today about that. August 22nd, Thursday, August 22nd would probably be an appropriate day. I know teachers start on the following Monday, August 26th, and students on the next day, Tuesday, the 27th.
All right, Thursday, August 22nd, if that is agreeable to the committee. Thursday, August 22nd. Same time, same place, and we promise not to have the feedback next time. But I also wanted to open up just some Q&A if anybody has any other questions that they may have, simply because some of the technical difficulties we were having earlier. So once again, any questions that anybody may have?
I do. In the last,
All right, if you could
Mr.
slide that over. Oh, it's working. It is working. Okay, great.
Mr. Manager, the last meeting there was a request for a brief, walkthrough. Could we arrange that? When can we do that?
We're probably looking for a walkthrough. We had discussed this earlier. Probably let Mr. Fiato settle in the beginning of September, maybe mid-September.
Yeah, perhaps.
Fair?
Sure.
We're going to be hustling, I think, in the month of August, and I don't know if we want to have anybody in there that shouldn't be in there. That would be my recommendation, if that's all right with everybody, and we'll settle in and around maybe the end of September. Why don't we set a walkthrough date, August 22nd, gentlemen, if that's okay? Does that seem fair?
Yeah. That works.
Thank you.
Probably the next time we have a September meeting on this, I think we can walk through half an hour beforehand.
August 27th?
Or September.
No. In August, we'll figure out what we'll set the date for the September walkthrough for the September budget meeting. Or October, whichever is easiest for the superintendent and Mr. Fiato. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Questions, thoughts, and concerns?
Mr. Manager?
Senator, hold on one second. We're going to turn you back up for a moment here. Okay. So that's how we fix the feedback problem. Senator, you should be good to go now.
Okay, I probably missed this at the beginning of the meeting, but usually there's been a report on the percentage of women, the percentage of Lowellians that are working on the project. And I don't need to know the exact numbers, just has there been any changes since the last meeting?
Rex?
I don't know exactly if it's from. Yeah, thank you. Oh, we're just fixing the feedback. I don't know if it's an increase from the last meeting so much as it's been an increase from earlier on this year when some of the finishing trades came on board. Some of our finishers have more likely than not will have a higher increase with women within their workforce. So that's what we're seeing. But I could go back and take a look at that. Mm-hmm.
The next meeting, I just wondered if there had been a big change, that's all. The only other thing I'd like to add is that, I think you guys are doing a good job. I do think that this committee has been very beneficial so far. I'm glad that we have these meetings on a regular basis. And although the building and the project's not done, it's really shaping up to be a good looking, it's going to be a good looking building when it's done. So I just wanted to say that now at the beginning of the summer.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Any other questions, thoughts? Oh, Mr. Fiato.
Thank you, Mr. Fiato. I appreciate that. Just one question I wanted to ask. In terms of the construction and design, is the building set up in a way in which further down the road it can receive a LEED certification in energy? I know the courthouse on Jackson Street received that distinction. That's a beautiful new building. I was wondering if LHS is set up for that?
So yes, during this process, we did have to look at having it meet a certification. LEEDs was the chosen platform to do that. It's actually was designed and under construction for a silver. But when the credits come in, we'd love it go higher. So it is an active process that we do design through construction, and we won't know until the finish line.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Fiato.
In addition to the teamwork that's been displayed among our partners with Skanska, Perkins, and Suffolk, I do want to recognize the amazing sacrifice that our staff has made and students have made over the last several years, basically taking their classroom, putting it into boxes and having it moved. This may not be the first time for many teachers, and as you know, I can tell you that our staff have been incredibly patient and just put forward a lot of sacrifice, and our students are in the same position. So I don't know if anyone's watching, but I just wanted to make it known that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into this, in addition to the work that's happening on the ground to make this a reality.
Thank you very much. I've also talked about today about the communication between the superintendent's office, the head of school, and Mr. Dowd has continued to be as good as it has been in the past. Right? Excellent.
Also,
Mr. Dowd.
Thank you, Mr. Fiato, and everyone at the high school for how they're working with us and rolling with everything we have. We try to be as accommodating as possible. But I would just like to make a comment. We've walked the buildings the last 2 days for the movers, and the condition in which the teachers left the classrooms to be moved was phenomenal. And thank you for that. That makes our lives a lot easier, and we appreciate it.
Excellent. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns in regards to, once again, June 20th, Lowell High School Building Committee meeting?
Mr. Manager, speaking of communication, we spoke earlier today. Given that it's going to be such a hectic summer, we will be providing and we've got a lot to turn over, we're going to be providing the SBC with an update on progress every other Friday. We'll give a quick update from Rex and myself.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So once again, this is a discussion we had earlier. This doesn't, of course, stop any of us from asking questions, especially to Mr. Fiato and the superintendent. But for the general public and obviously the SBC, we've come up with every 2 weeks just to find out where we're going, how things are happening, because it's so vitally important to make sure we hit that mark when everyone moves in at the end of August. So thank you very much, Mr. Dowd, for that. Questions, thoughts, concerns in regards to any other pieces that were brought up today? Maybe you didn't hear it, you thought you heard it, you want it repeated. Once again, our apologies for the technical difficulties here, but any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Final call. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Okay. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much. This is the conclusion of the Thursday, June 2024 meeting for the Building Committee, Lowell High School.
All right. Have a good night.